Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. Now I've got this gut instinct that something huge is going to happen at Survivor Series involving Bray Wyatt. Surely this is where one of the most intriguing storylines in recent memory. I'm going to put it out there and say that because this is genuinely so interesting. It's going to pay off big time at Survivor Series. It can't be a coincidence that we've seen all this blue and red lighting behind Bray Wyatt on his face. Surely that signifies and is a sign for something big happening at Survivor Series. Now, of course, it could just mean it will represent good and evil, the two sides to Bray Wyatt. And of course, at the moment, we assume that that is the battle that Bray Wyatt is in at the moment. He's trying to do good things, but Uncle Howdy, the darker entity, whatever that may be, is trying to pull him into the dark side. Now, the obvious emphasis we saw at Crown Jewel, and in general, is Howdy wants Bray to put a mask back on, to feel, basically not feel any pain, and feel great, and do horrible things. He said several times, repeated several times, hurt them. And I immediately thought of The Fiend and hurting heel, hurt them. Then, is this going to be multiple people that Bray potentially goes after via that darker entity taking over him? And this was one of the first times, we mentioned in our previous video, that we saw the reaction to Bray in relation to Uncle Howdy, and he looked absorbed, didn't he? He looked like he was tempted. He really did. Howdy wants him to put on a mask again and hurt people, essentially. And I think this is what we're going to see at Survivor Series. Eventually, Bray is going to give in, he's going to crack, he's going to succumb to this darker entity, and he will wear a mask. Now, the difference, the big difference this time around, and I certainly feel this is the general feeling from the Bray Wyatt return, is Bray Wyatt and Triple H are going down the psychological route with the mask. The fact that Bray said he felt powerful behind a mask, he didn't describe it as the Fiend or a supernatural entity. It was very much something that you could fit into real life, couldn't you? You know, anyone could put on a mask, and by putting that mask on might feel more powerful. Like, people can't see their expressions, they can be their true self, revel in who they are. And I like that because I feel that that is the direction that WWE are going to go with Bray. He's going to get a new mask. Surely he's going to get a new mask. And this is going to be something completely new. And whether he goes down the revenge arc of targeting Alexa Bliss, or potentially WWE tease a Roman Reigns interaction. Now, I'm not all for them going straight in on that. I'd love it to be just an acknowledgement of, remember me, remember who I am. I haven't forgotten about Payback. I haven't forgotten about SummerSlam. Remember me. They sort the Alexa Bliss redemption arc out, if you like, from WrestleMania 37, and then we move forward. But I certainly think, or feel like, he's going to do something horrific. Now, whether this is the Fiend mask, whether this is a new mask, remains to be seen. Of course, you can't rule off any of this. You could work the Fiend in as another version of one of Bray's personalities, another entity, if you like. And then separately, you could have a new additional character, maybe a Three Faces version of Bray Wyatt. But to keep it simple, I think we're going to see the good side that we've been seeing at the moment, multiple sort of characters away from the ring, such as Uncle Howdy and maybe an incoming Uncle Harper, and then of course this mask version of Bray, which is the dark side, which does horrible things to people. Of course, we've got to look at little details with Bray Wyatt, just the way that when he comes down to the ring in his entrance, his facial expressions change. They switch between like good and bad, if you noticed. Like, he has that sinister look on his face, just the same one that he had when he returned at Extreme Rules. So we know there's that switch between the two, and he could work the double gimmicks. Bray could pull this off 100%. And why I'm really optimistic about how this is going to translate into the ring is we know now that Bray feels powerful under a mask. There's no mention of supernatural. We haven't seen any of that inside an arena, have we? Of course, we've seen Howdy pop up on the screen and all these various images, but translating to the ring, Bray with a mask on, just being a man that doesn't fear anything because he feels powerful in a mask, can translate really well into the ring. It can. It really can. And book that type of gimmick the way it should have always been. One of the main problems with the Fiend gimmick, as much as I loved it, is it went too supernatural. He literally got burnt alive. And yes, that's a supernatural gimmick, and that's what supernatural gimmicks do. But in many ways, if you just had that version of the Fiend, Bray is a man in a mask, just feeling like he's got this ultimate power, and that's his best version of himself, his most lethal version of himself in the ring. And that's kind of believable, isn't it? And I think that's what we're going to see moving forward. Now, we know for damn sure that Bray Wyatt could pull off multiple versions. He could have multiple characters. Now, I'm not down for him having 6 versions of himself to wrestle like in the ring. That would be a bit crazy. But say Uncle Howdy is the version we're seeing, like that sort of spirit, if you like. He did say he was the ghost of the man who sold the world. Uncle Harper then gets revealed. He could potentially be played or portrayed by someone else. Of course, we can't rule off Howdy being played by someone else, potentially translated into the ring. And then you got the good version, if you like, of Bray. You've got the Fiend, you've got a new incarnation of Bray, and maybe others added to the fold, and that'd be really cool. I personally just love to see 3 versions of Bray. That would make for fresh storyline telling, fresh storyline arcs. You could have multiple gimmicks going on, and Bray would pull it off 100%. But one thing pretty guaranteed at this stage is we're going to see Bray back in a mask, and he's going to succumb to the dark side. Will the payoff be at Survivor Series? We'll have to wait and see. I have got a video coming up on the Survivor Series War Games match, the women's match, and who the potential add-on members could be for both sides. Of course, 1 remaining slot on Damage Control's side and 2 remaining slots on Bianca's side. So it'd be interesting to see who fills those gaps. Will Bray Wyatt get involved as Alexa Bliss is in that matchup, or will it be somewhere else? As always, welcome all your thoughts and opinions. Get down in the comments section, share your ideas. If you could like this video, that would be much appreciated. Share the video about, and even better, subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you in the next one.